Wow, some major breaking news on the eve of NFL free agency as the San Francisco 49ers have released defensive tackle Arik Armstead. You heard that correctly. The 49ers are moving on from defensive tackle Arik Armstead. This is the San Francisco 49ers Report. I'm Chase Sr. So glad all of you are here with us. And this is a reminder to subscribe to the channel for daily coverage of the Niners. And especially when breaking news happens, we have you covered. And with free agency getting underway tomorrow, the Niners are already busy. They're going to be busier. And we're going to discuss every single move that they make. So hit that sub button right now. The news coming from NFL insider Jordan Schultz, the son of former Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz. He took to X to say this, and it was a little bit of a bombshell just hours away from the start of free agency tomorrow. Sources to Bleacher Report. 49ers star defensive lineman Arik Armstead has decided to become a free agent, and he will be released. Armstead's coming off a really good performance in the Super Bowl, coming off of that knee and foot injury. 6 tackles, 1 sack against the Chiefs. He ranks 4th in sacks among all active players in the playoffs. His 8 playoff sacks rank 2nd all-time in the history of the San Francisco 49ers. And think about all of the long-term postseason success that this organization has had in winning 5 Super Bowls, 2nd most of all time, behind the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New England Patriots, who were tied with 6. And Arik Armstead's 85.6 pass rushing grade, according to Pro Football Focus last year, was a career high. He is 30 years old right now, and he ranks 10th all-time in Niners history for sacks registered. This is one of the most versatile and one of the best, probably second-tier defensive linemen who is going to hit the open market. And I can only imagine this had to be an excruciating decision for John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, in this front office. We're talking about a multi-time team captain in Arik Armstead, a really good player who has been really important for this defense against the run, against the pass, and one of the focal points, one of the pillars of this Niners locker room. But when you make it to 4 NFC championship games and 2 Super Bowls in 5 years, and you come away empty-handed, and you're looking ahead at a contract extension for Brandon Ayuk, as well as Brock Purdy, and other players who are extension eligible, you're making this move for this year. You're making this move looking into the future as well. And the Niners were going to have to make some difficult decisions at some point this offseason. I talked about it ad nauseum here on the show, that big decisions were coming and are potentially still coming, whether that be a trade, whether that be a cut, whether that be a release. And my initial reaction to this, wow, a lot of chatter about the Niners making difficult decisions. That chatter ends up coming to fruition, and this is one of them. And he's been a mainstay on the defensive line as Armstead. Walter Payton, Man of the Year winner and nominee. High character, great work ethic, all the great things that you want in a player who wears the C on his chest. Now, this move is going to free up some money. It just happened, so we're not sure exactly how much money this is going to free up for San Francisco, but pre-June 1, if it's a pre-June 1 release, $2.5 million opens up. The dead money for the Niners is at $25.8 million. Post-June 1, it would open up $18.1 million, and the dead money, $10.3. Now, if it's a post-June 1 release, thanks to Akash with this. He does such a great job on X with all of the salary cap information. The cap savings don't become available until then, and they can be used for contract extensions this summer for some of the aforementioned players, but you think about the other players who are extension eligible, Talanoa Hufanga, Diamador Lenore, young players, and then Charvarius Ward, Fred Warner, other players who are due for contract extensions as well. And Mike Silver put out a thread a little bit earlier tonight, and my radar started ringing. I was at Whole Foods doing some grocery shopping, getting ready for just what is going to be a crazy week at Chat Sports, and I want to run through some of his tweets because he pointed to this potentially happening. And when Mike Silver talks, oftentimes you got to listen. He's tapped into this organization, NorCal guy, went to Cal. He's known Kyle Shanahan since he was a teenager. He's covered John Lynch going back to his playing days. He knows what's happening. And when I was at the NFL Combine, when I was at the Super Bowl, every time I saw Mike Silver, he's talking with somebody. And he's doing his work to put some feelers out there, and that's why he's one of the best reporters in the game. He said, all right, y'all, I've talked to a lot of people, and I will tell you some of what I know about the Niners. Not going to do the individual reply thing till free agency settles down, so make of it what you will. So, thread number one. I expect the 49ers to approach free agency, legal tampering period starts tomorrow morning, with the sense of urgency at the edge rusher position opposite of Nick Bosa. That doesn't mean they will jump immediately or overpay. They want value. So maybe the Niners right away tomorrow don't make a huge move, but they wait to see what the market dictates. Secondly, from Silver, still, with players like Danielle Hunter, Jonathan Grenard, and Leonard Floyd out there, they'd be poised to move quickly at the right price. They're also monitoring the potential trades or releases of Chargers edge rushers, Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. They'll do something, he said in all caps, I believe. Paying for an edge, here we go. Could mean parting ways with defensive tackle Arik Armstead and going cheaper opposite of Javon Hargrave. Keep an eye on former Niners defensive tackle DJ Jones, likely to be cut by the Broncos. I talked about DJ Jones on my show. I talked about DJ Jones on Krug's show as a trade, but more realistically, a free agent signing as part of the Russell Wilson fallout because Denver is cash-strapped. They don't have a lot of money, and DJ Jones doesn't have a large dead cap number, but his cap hit in 2024 is big. And when he signed that 3-year, $30 million contract a couple of years ago, the Niners couldn't afford that at the time. But now the Broncos can't afford it. And that would mean that DJ Jones could come back to the Niners on a discounted deal, and he's pretty good against the run, so I would like that fit. More from Silver here. The Niners will also look at corners outside and slot, given Diamador Lenore's flexibility, possibly someone like the Packers' Keyshawn Nixon, who's an accomplished return man. Ray McLeod, a free agent, by the way. They'd like an off-ball linebacker given Dre Greenlaw's injury, but Azeez Al-Shire is likely too expensive to bring back. So the Armstead nugget, he was right on it. And when Mike Silver dropped that piece a few weeks ago, I was running through all of the different veterans that the Niners could either trade or release. And we talked about several of them. Arik Armstead being one of them. He's always been a popular cut candidate or a trade candidate given how large his contract is. And for the Niners to move on now, it's going to hurt. He's a really impactful player, but you're banking that you can go cheaper at defensive tackle to bulk up elsewhere and then free up money down the pipe. Armstead's 30 years old, 17th overall pick out of Oregon in the 2015 draft. He's from Sacramento, so had some Bay Area, NorCal ties. And when you're a leader, when you're a high-character guy like this, these decisions are very, very difficult. But this is the business nature of what the NFL is. Armstead's year-by-year numbers, pretty durable player up until the last 2 years, and then in year 2 and year 3, he was a little bit hurt. But outside of that, games played 16, 8, 6, 16, 16, 16, 17, 9, and 12 the last 2 years. He was never a true sack artist at defensive tackle. He didn't blow up the stat sheet in that regard, but he pushed the pocket, good against the run, caused havoc, made the pocket muddy for opposing quarterbacks. And his impact, I always thought, went beyond the numbers. But his sack numbers year by year, 2, 2.5, 1.5, 3. 2019 broke out 10 sacks. And then 3.5, 6, 0 in 2022, and then 5 here in 2023. So this kind of signals some potential massive moves for the Niners. This is one of them, but more huge moves could come for San Francisco here. That's why you subscribe to the channel, man. We got you covered every step of the way. It is going to be a fascinating and very pivotal offseason for the Niners because they're so close of getting over that hump and getting over that hurdle of winning a Super Bowl championship. But they have to be smart financially now, in looking ahead into the future. And I have a feeling that whether it's this offseason, next offseason, we're going to see some of the marquee veterans. We're going to see some of the fan favorites get let go by San Francisco, because that's the reality of doing business. If you want to pay Brandon Ayuk, you want to pay Brock Purdy, if he has another 2024 like he had in 2023, you're going to have to pay up big-time dollars. Changing of the guard in a certain way for San Francisco here, and it's interesting on so many fronts. This has been the San Francisco 49ers Report. I'm Chase Sr. We'll catch you tomorrow, live tomorrow. Turn on those noties, hit that bell icon. Therefore, when we do go live, whenever we push out a video like this, you'll be notified.